So basically, all
You
right,
want me to
we
go back on the
live, we
questions?
live.
Yeah, ask the question over again.
Yes.
We live,
Okay.
y'all.
Run
So,
that.
with y'all being lesbians and still having that kind of masculine, the way y'all like aesthetic, like what's your viewpoint or outlook on how y'all go about like relationship wise as far as like roles and stuff?
Like who's the dominant one or who's submissive?
Yeah,
what
or
roles
like
are played?
more masculine
Okay.
role, you know, just as far as in a oh god, oh, my wording. I'm just saying in a straight relationship, like those roles that would be played, like man's role,
Gotcha.
female role. Like how do y'all go about that in a relationship? Because
You want to answer that first?
I go first.
Yeah, you answer first.
Okay, so like for me, like I consider myself the more masculine, but I don't mind my feminine side coming out. You know what I mean? In whatever role that may look like. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I mean, I have my dominant side, I have my feminine side.
Or your submissive role.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But it kind of, when you're a masculine presenting woman and then you're dating more of a feminine woman, it kind of balances out. Because it's like she does her role, but she can also be submissive or girly, feminine at the same time. And then, with me, I have my dominant side, but I can also be submissive to her as well. You know, the roles is balanced, I would say.
Okay. And as far as like coming from like the traditional aspect of it, like okay,
Like the
man's gonna take care of X, Y, and Z, or like just little things
so,
like
yeah,
that.
Things like that.
Like how do y'all navigate?
Like that to me, I call that a gentle
more
woman. I do like open the doors for my lady. You know what I'm saying? Put
Even
her in the car, get her out the car.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? We can do 50-50. Like I got it.
Flip the bill.
We got it. You know what I'm saying?
It's like
because
I'm gonna pay for dinner if I tell you. But a lot of times that the women that I've dated is like a balance. They're like, hey, let me feed you too. You know what I mean? So it's like allowing them to
take on a little
bit of dominant role too
sometimes.
sometimes. Yeah, in certain areas. So I feel like we could be submissive. I could be submissive in certain areas, and then I could be more dominant in certain areas.
Okay.
Kind of like recognizing our strength and our weakness within our relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And I would say more of my past relationship was more of me playing more of the role of the guy, so paying for everything. Now the relationship that I'm in, baby, I want to actually be my girlfriend as well. I'm like, what? Okay, or I want to take you out, so it's different to me now. Right. But it's cool.
It's like
you know
what
I'm saying? Yeah, it's a balance. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, or I may pay for dinner, she's gonna pay for the tip. Okay. You know what I mean? Or if I'm asking you to go out, of course, I'm going to pay because I initiated it. I asked you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or vice versa. If she asks me, baby, let's go out on a date. Okay. She must got everything taken care of. But, whatever she don't have, boom, boom, bam, baby, there you go. I pay the tip. You know what I'm saying?
Because I just wanted to ask all that because, like, backtracking into the other video, when it comes to, like, transgender like roles and stuff like that, like okay, you're becoming the opposite gender.
Right.
So are you willing to take on what most people the norm of what that would take on? Are you willing to take that on, transitioning into that other gender?
That's true. That's really, really great topic and statement because it's like you're taking on this presentation, right? Appearance. So beyond that, are you willing to take on those roles and the things that come along with that? You transition into a woman. Okay, are you willing to take on a role as with motherly duties? If you're to date someone who has a child,
Mhm.
you know, these are all those things like that you got to plug and play and understand. Like naturally, as
Mhm.
women, we know what women want, so
Mhm.
we find a balance a lot of times that's kind of
Mhm.
easy.
Mhm.
You know, we can maybe just come off masculine presenting, and I may be more dominant in certain areas of my relationship,
Sure.
but I'm also going to be submissive to my woman as well,
Mhm.
because I know that she wants to have some control and some things
Right.
in the relationship. I think that's what
Right.
makes partnership.
Right.
Men, I think a lot of times they just want to, they like, oh, I'm supposed to, you know, and then they say, oh, well, I leave it to her. She may not. Right. So if two women are
Mhm.
together, and one's dominant, one's submissive. So it's never really that. It's always a space where we find a place to be submissive to our partner. I mean, that's what I've experienced.
Okay. Yeah, I just think, like just the different when it comes to just being like lesbian or gay versus transitioning into, you know what I'm saying? Like it's different because I'm like, okay,
Right.
maybe like with lesbian, there's a lot of things that don't change necessarily because y'all aren't changing your biological matter. So there's
Right,
there's
right,
still
right.
feminine aspects to both sides of the
Right.
relationship and stuff,
Mhm.
or even with being gay, I'm pretty sure there's maybe might bump heads with being a little bit more dominant. It's like, okay, who's doing the X one,
Mhm.
So that's why I asked that.
That's a good question.
Because I
It
feel
is a
like
good- that was a
it's
good question.
yeah, like it's different on that transitioning aspect of it. Like, okay, well, y'all are trying to have like a heterozygous relationship,
Mhm.
but then how are the roles being distributed between
Right.
both of y'all? Because
Right.
it's
How are the rules being
you're literally
Right.
yeah, because you're switching. So it's like, okay,
Right.
does the transitioning man into a woman become more, it's like you're
Yeah.
literally having to switch those roles and it's
Mhm.
not really natural
Right.
to your natural being.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
So it's like, damn, how do you navigate that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and there's some transgender, there's some trans that have had children, you know. So then they go through that process with the person that they're with. So to me so it's kind of like then the roles kind of change, but then the kids have to adjust to the roles changing too.
Mhm.
So it's kind of
Mhm.
a weird thing because it was a guy that was transitioning and that doctor told him that he couldn't get pregnant.
Mhm.
But the crazy thing was he was transitioning to a man, which means he was a butch before, he was a white chick,
Mhm.
but was sleeping with a guy who's a cis boy. But he considers himself like a kind of a feminine gay guy, but he's top. And he ends up getting
I'm confused.
the transition.
I'm
Right.
confused
Ends
now.
up getting his transition from a woman to a man, ends up getting his transition boyfriend pregnant. And that wasn't what they planned for because
What?
they were told that as he was going through the transition because of the medications and stuff he was on and he couldn't get pregnant. Ended up getting pregnant and then they had to have a conversation. It was like, are you gonna abort your child because of this?
Wow.
Like, no, you didn't think you could have children, but you were a whole woman. And so when they went back, doctor was like, yeah, I mean,
You were
you
born
said,
a woman.
yeah, you were born
have
a woman,
everything.
like you still have all your
Yeah.
female parts. So that it potentially could have happened.
Right.
So they ended up having a baby. And it was weird looking at him pregnant. Like they showed him full-fledged pregnant with the whole beard.
Mm.
you know, and it was just like, damn. So now then you have the child, then the baby's growing up, and then you're like, you got to tell that story.
Right.
You know, that's the truth. You got to tell that story to that
Okay,
child.
let me tell you the story, baby.
I'm your mama, daddy.
Yeah.
And that's your daddy. I'm your mama, daddy. You got two daddies. You got a mama and two daddies. Shit. Child be like, I got three parents biologically.
Biologically. Yo, that is crazy, bro. Oh my goodness.
It is.
Walking around with
Woo.
all the but that you're seeing
shit
that
gets
more
deep.
and more and more. You
It
see
gets deep.
where these men are having, they're like, oh, well, go ahead and have my baby. Because
All
I
dealing
still
with
got it. And
hormones.
then after that,
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
and then they
All
have the
dealing with
surgery.
hormones.
They have all of this
Right.
shit removed right after they have the baby. That's a lot. First of all, it's traumatic having a child.
Mhm.
Then you're gonna get all your shit removed right after you have the baby.
Mhm. I was following this one YouTuber. So he was
Crazy.
born a female,
Mhm.
had a daughter, a baby,
Okay.
and he was with a feminine female.
Okay.
So then I say probably a couple months after he had a baby is when he transitioned into a dude.
Okay.
So by the time the baby got about one, okay, the baby looking at you like mama, daddy, because when you had me, you look like a mama. Now you presenting as daddy, but then the girlfriend still, you know, is the girlfriend, the feminine.
Right.
So it was just weird though, because I mean,
Yeah.
you did it before the baby was
Yeah.
still a baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
And
the
then,
baby's
like, you
gonna
still-
accept. The baby's gonna accept the parent regardless,
Oh yeah,
right?
most
The
definitely.
baby's gonna love and accept the parent regardless. Now, baby probably won't be confused because the baby will understand at a very early age.
Yeah.
Now, the thing about it is my child, for example.
Mhm.
My child will be that confused child. You know, like having a classmate or a friend or a cousin or something is like, yeah, well, how I came up, that's a girl.
Right.
Girls have babies.
Right.
How is that a boy and that had a baby? You know, because that at some point I feel like that is what they're going to see. This next generation is going to see how a man walk around pregnant.
Right.
Y'all remember that years ago they had a picture. It was like on like a magazine cover or some shit of like man, yeah.
It will look like.
But that's what they were
But it
saying,
was
like
a-
a guy having a baby, but it was a fucking female. And I'm like,
Yep.
fucking kids up. Making them think that they can actually do that.
It's already bad enough you got your nieces and nephews running around here like auntie, uncle. You know what I'm saying?
Auntie,
oh, you a
uncle.
girl.
Yeah, they
Auntie,
already
why
do
you
that,
not wear
right?
dresses? Why you not wear makeup?
Right.
Because kids will definitely be like, hey, let me put some makeup on.
Right.
No.
They ask you, are you a boy or a girl?
No. Right. Are
They
you a
asked me
boy
at
or
school,
a
Langston's
girl?
school, that Lex said, she's the little girls, they were like, Langston's mom, are you a girl? If I'm Langston's mom, I'm a girl. Yeah, I said this shit just like that to their little asses. The fuck?
You be getting tight with kids
Yeah.
that like, what I look like?
Damn.
I'm a girl. Okay.
I remember Miani and
But you dress like a
Amanda's
boy.
daughter asked me that one when Brooke and them were staying with Lavelle, and they were in the bathtub. And it was like, oh Lauren, are you a boy or a girl? I said, I'm a girl. I said, what you think? A girl? I said, okay, that's well, why you dress like a boy? Because it's comfortable. I like dressing like a boy because it's comfortable for me. And it's funny because now Miani's come out in her own little skin and everything. And it's like, hey, you know, I think that's what they need to see. It's like, yeah, embrace yourself, embrace you.
But don't change.
But don't
your
feel like you
physical
need to go
and
changing up your
biological.
physical. Yeah.
That's
And that's what I
not
tell
how
them.
God created you. And if that's what you want to dress up like that, okay, feel comfortable in that. But there's no reason for you to go through all of those extremities to like.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's
a lot.
That is.
a lot of trauma. Like,
And that's
people
even
don't want to
after.
go through surgery.
But even
already.
after the
Mhm.
They
fact,
got to. So the note, like, so you opting in to just getting your body cut on,
Mhm.
getting shit removed from your body when there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Like that's
and after
That's an
the fact,
extreme.
I mean, even doing that at a young age and stuff, it's like, later on you have to think about, what could have been, or
mhm. Like,
damn, if I
preserving your
didn't,
damn
do
eggs.
this,
Right.
like,
For
that's
real,
that's
for
a
real.
lot.
Mhm. That is a lot.
It's a lot.